Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to the Sweet Talks podcast. My name is Chantel.
Hi, and I'm Nikima.
And I'm Rihanna.
Coolio. All right. And so today's topic was given to us by one of our listeners, and they've asked us to cover looking at the effects of the coronavirus on Black and ethnic minority communities.
Yeah.
So I'm going to kick it off today. Normally I'd ask if, who wants to kick it off, but I'm going to kick it off today just with some facts and figures, just so we can kind of see what the discrepancies are. So, in America, the institution, the CDC, which stands for the Center of Disease Control and Prevention, they've reported that even though within a particular community that they had studied, that even though 18% of that particular community were Black, 33% of the people who were hospitalized for coronavirus or COVID-19 were made up of Black people. The same for Hispanics, that the Hispanics made up 14% of the community. However, 14% of them were hospitalized, but they made up 8% of the community. And out of per 100,000 people, they found that 92.3 of them would die from coronavirus if they were Black. 74.3 of them would die if they were Hispanic, whereas compared to white people, only 45.2 per 100,000 would die. And the same thing with the UK. So the ONS, which stands for the Office of National Statistics, they say that if you are a Black male, you are 4.2 times more likely to die from COVID-19 than white males. And also with Black females, you are 4.3 times more likely to die from COVID-19 than white females. And they also found that people of Bangladeshi, Pakistani, Indian, and mixed ethnicities had statistically significantly higher raised odds of death compared to those with white ethnicities. So when we compare this now to places that Black and ethnic minorities do originate from, so places like Caribbean, Africa, Asia, we find that actually the numbers are very, very low. So I would suggest, or that would suggest, that it can't be an ethnic problem or a minority ethnicity problem, because if people who are Black and people who are Asian, or people who are Indian, Bangladeshi, whatever, they in their countries don't die in those significant proportions, that there must be a discrepancy somewhere. That's what this evidence suggests.
What do you think the discrepancies are?
Me personally? Oh, sorry, go on.
Absolutely.
I was gonna say, like, I mean, I don't really know much about this, if I'm being honest. I don't really understand the figures, but I just know that we're dying and they ain't, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think that in our countries of origin, I think, unfortunately, it's something as simple as, because we all look alike, or we're all used to each other, and we can relate. I think we're more likely to be believed by the medical professionals that also look like us. So what I'm saying is that if you're somebody of a African, Caribbean, Eastern Asian descent or whatever, and then you go to hospital and your medical professionals look like you, I feel like if you were to tell them, oh, I'm in pain, and the pain is excruciating, I feel like they're more likely to believe you. But I feel like over here, or in the Western world, when you've got a professional who's ignorant, and institutionalized and whatever else, and then you as a Black person, you as a BME, then tell a non-BME, oh, I'm in pain, I feel like they're less likely to believe you, because for some reason, mentality and whatever else, they're less likely to believe you, because I think they think that you can handle more pain, or they just don't want to help you, or whatever other kind of ideas, racism, whatever. So I think sometimes, well, not sometimes, I think part of it is something as simple as just that. I mean, I'm sure there's other parts of it as well, but I think that is a big part of it. Nikima?
What's your intake? What's your part? What's your
I
take?
understand where you're coming from, Ree. And when you were talking, I was thinking, like, if it was the opposite way round and Europeans came to Africa with certain illnesses living there, would they get that same treatment how we would experience it here? Does that make sense? And I don't think it would be the same.
I was thinking the exact same thing, you know.
I don't think it would be the same.
I
I
don't
think
think so.
there's, I think even me at times is afraid to say there's institutionalized racism.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a big pandemic. Like there's people being killed just because of the way they look in the medical system, judiciary system, educational, housing, whatever, boom, boom, boom. So, so my thing is, it doesn't surprise me. It saddens me, the statistics, but it doesn't surprise me.
Right.
Because if you look at statistics for Black women childbirth, we were talking about it a few podcasts ago.
Yeah.
This is similar, if not the same story. So there's an institutionalized racism going on and it's inbred. And I don't want to, I'm not trying to look for equality because a lot of us have been doing it for hundreds of years and it's never happened. And I don't think it will. And that's okay with me. It's not okay, but it's okay with me because it helps me be at peace. What I'm then looking for is what I can do to help reduce, if not eliminate, these things happening to my people in any which form, which way and how. I mean, so it means me educating myself to a degree and understanding the system that I'm in and helping and educating other people and not just educating and learning, actively doing something. You know, if it's to prevent myself from being in hospital, I'm going to do certain things that's going to help me to not be in hospital. Because if I know that hospitals are hurting us, it's not healing us. I don't know if you saw a story recently in the US. This Black family was told that their loved one, which is a Black woman, she was about 70, could be 60 anyway, could be a bit older anyway.
Oh, when they said she died?
Coronavirus.
Yeah, I know that. I've heard that one. Yeah, go on. Go on. People in bed, you know.
So, this family, something didn't quite sit right. This is why I love energy, spirit, and ancestors and deities and the Almighty and the Creator. I love it all because it was telling them something not sit right, something not right. So what they did is they went to the morgue to see their loved one, their mom or whoever it was, only to find that she's still alive.
Yeah, she was still alive in the morgue. She's like
her
trying
heart
to
rate was low.
Yeah. Yep.
She's in the she's on the morgue bed. Oh yeah. And he's filming saying, "Look at this. She's still alive." And they're good.
What were you saying, Leona?
They would have put her in that coffin and suffocated her.
Yeah, that's exactly what would have happened. That's exactly what would have happened. And if it wasn't for the family, they had to break into the morgue. It wasn't like they were saying, "Oh, come and see your loved one," and whatever, because you're not supposed to. You're not supposed to go and see someone who's died from coronavirus. And so this, although I understand in theory, based on what they say, why you can't go and see them, like there's obviously based on stories like that, you then start to wonder, well, how many people have you put into a morgue who ain't really dead?
That you killed, yeah.
That you're killing. Whether or not that's just Black people, I don't know, but this happens to be a Black family story.
If you say that, it's contradicting your statistics. It's gonna be, isn't it? More than likely, it's gonna be Black families.
You know, when you don't know, you can't say for certain. But even though I can say that, okay, this happens to be a Black family story. More than likely, this is happening to other Black families. It does match with the statistics, but I can't say for certain.
I know definitively that is. I get it absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so in Birmingham, there's a viral video of this one girl. She's pregnant. This one woman. I think she's early 30s. She's pregnant heavily, about 8 months. Her dad went in the weekend for an eye operation.
An eye operation, okay.
An eye operation, routine eye operation. She goes in detail about how they treated him, put him on a ward that was COVID. He must have caught COVID.
Of course.
And he died of COVID.
But the thing is that there's loads of videos that are coming out like this now, you know, as well, and it's really starting to be very, very, very alarming. Like there was even a nurse from New York, which I actually posted on one of my stories the other day, about a week ago, and she was saying that how she felt like some doctors were purposefully killing people of certain ethnicities just because they could. So there was one guy who I can't remember what she said was happening to him, but she said using a defibrillator on him, she knew it was going to kill him. You didn't have to use a defibrillator. You needed to use adrenaline or something like that. I can't remember exactly what she said, but she actually
I bet
said
was she in tears?
Yeah, she was crying. She was saying to the doctor, if you do that, you're going to kill him. She reported it to her manager. Her manager didn't do anything. And then she was like, on the bottom of the certificate, they wrote COVID. It had nothing to do with COVID virus whatsoever. And then
side note, I love that actually, because you're bringing this to the forefront and it's very important. You're right. There's an actual pandemic happening. Not only is there this COVID, but there's a killing spree happening right now with us people, unfortunately. Side note to that, shoot, and it's gone. It will come back. It will come back. This side note will come back. It will come back.
Okay. But even with like stuff like that, and also the fact that sometimes there's been mention of within certain medical communities that you get a financial incentive for writing COVID.
That was the side note.
That was
sorry.
The side note. There we go. So right, don't worry about it. So for writing down COVID on the death certificate, then you know what? A lot of doctors are going to do it because they want the money for their hospitals. They want the money for their practices. They're going to need it.
Not only do they get money for dying or having a death certificate of COVID, they're having money for different equipment to come in the company. I don't know how well you guys know Birmingham, but there is Dudley Road Hospital in Birmingham.
Yeah.
They're just building another hospital like half a mile down the road. I don't know if you've seen it.
Yeah, they've been building it for 3-4 years.
They've been building it for a while, but I don't know how you. It's like a super hospital. It's massive.
Yeah, it's supposed to
massive. Not only is it wide, it's massive. And you know what? I was driving once past it about 2 months ago. Anyway, and I said to myself, why have they got a hospital not that far from a hospital up the road that I've never heard any information about it being overpopulated or anything like that? Anyway. So I just thought to myself, they must be expecting serious death or sickness.
Maybe, but I know that they were trying to combine Sandwell, Dudley Road, and I can't remember what the other hospital is, which is not that far either. But that was
they're going to knock down those buildings and
they're
have one
going to knock down.
one.
Yeah, they're going to have one super hospital to cover Sandwell and West Birmingham.
Is that the hospital then?
It's that one hospital, yeah. But I don't know how they're going to do that, because especially when you've got a pandemic like this, you're just putting everybody in one place. So you don't have a safe hospital, or you know, like how some of the GPs are like doing like hot surgery and regular surgery. So the hot surgery is for the people that they think have got coronavirus or COVID-19, and the regular surgery is just for like your regular whatever. So I don't know how it's going to pan out, especially within.
Because if you look at where Dudley Road is and then West Brom, it's a decent amount of distance between them. So if people get unwell that side, Walsall, whatever, you know, there's one hospital quite close.
Yeah, Walsall Manor.
Then put everything over that side. Okay, it's all good.
Yes, anyway, that's a whole different conversation for that, because that's the thing is where they're trying to put the hospital as well, and again would make me question how certain decisions are made. You're putting it in a place which is quite heavily populated, number one. Number two, it does so happen to be an area that consists of quite a lot of Black and ethnic minority people.
The thing
it just happens to do that. And then also when we're looking at some of the doctors, and if you take note of some things that some doctors have said as well, and again, viral videos, people actually putting the business out there, saying that they're making the Black doctors and the Asian doctors and all them like work more than the white doctors on these COVID wards. So it's just that ridiculous. Even one nurse in the US, she quit because she told her
I saw that
manager,
one.
her manager, like, no, I'm not going to go on the corona ward because I've got 2 kids and one's got asthma. I'm not doing it. And there's no
she was
reason.
a cancer survivor.
And she was a cancer, that was it as well. And she was a cancer survivor, but yet you were willing and ready to put her on a corona ward, even though you knew that was actually, she quit. But unfortunately, a lot of people who do happen to be Black or ethnic minorities, when you're in that kind of job, you need that job. So sometimes they're not going to argue. Some of them are not going to quit, and then they are literally putting their lives on the line in more ways than one.
Also, I mean, this is not
all we can do is clap on a Thursday. Sorry, Rihanna. I think we need to be giving them serious pay rise about clapping on a Thursday. Don't get it twisted. I'm grateful for the NHS workers. We've worked in the NHS and for NHS services.
Yeah.
But I think they need more than just a clap.
Yeah, they do. They do.
Of course.
Sorry,
of course.
I'm
But
back.
typical. It's all right. Typical. I was gonna say UK, but it's not just the UK. You wait till now. You wait till you wait till it's all over for you to anyway. But also, not so much about the hospital, but that lady that recently died, and she told her employee that she can't go into work because she's, I think, she has some sort of medical condition anyway, and they didn't listen to her, and she was working on the trains, and they made her go in there. One nasty passenger spat on her.
Oh, spat on her, yeah. That is disgusting.
And COVID, and then she died.
I know.
I left an 11-year-old behind. It's just like, she told her employee.
Yeah, employer, yeah, she did.
Employer, sorry, beforehand, that she has health conditions and she can't do that. Once again, like you said, overworked, underpaid, typical. You know what I mean? And obviously, you think, like you said, some of them, this is their own income. And I'm thinking, I don't know if she was a single mom, but I'm assuming she. No, I don't think she was a single
she wasn't. She's married. She was married.
Her husband came on TV, yeah.
Yeah.
So she's working hard.
We created a single parent.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. She's working hard for her family, for her children. And we don't know his situation, so we're just going to assume that she was a breadwinner or whatever. Even if she wasn't a breadwinner, this doesn't matter. Either way, that's income. And the fact that she still went out to work to try and make this income, some nasty little man
decided to spit on her.
Yeah, but furthermore,
a racist, I'm assuming.
Probably. But
more than likely, who knows?
If her employer would have just listened to her,
she wouldn't be dead. She'd be alive. They would have actually saved her life. And the TFL's got a lot to answer for.
Exactly. They could have said to her, you know what? We won't put you on the front line, but we'll put you, you could work from home, do some sort of admin thing. Right. Even that would have been better.
For sure.
I think it's a constant thing. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't really want to talk about this topic because it's just, again, it's just another racist, I don't know what to call it, but it's just another, it's another strike, I suppose, against just like the man that died the other day from running, Ahmad something, Aubrey.
Aubrey.
That other guy that did a live the other day, got stopped by the police, did a live, and then they shot him on his live. It's just like, and then this lady, bless her heart, the train officer lady, and it's just like, it's sad. It really is sad, and it just makes me think like, all the people that we know, all the young black men that we know, black women that we know, ourselves, our future children. And then on top of that, now Dr. Jones is just deciding, I'm going to just start killing people because I've got nothing else to do.
Because he wants the money, or she wants the money.
Too, and it's just like, are you for real?
Well, this is it's hard. It's hard to I guess think about, but at the same time, it's our reality. And if we don't deal with it as a people, collectively, it is never going to change. And it has to be a collective, because if we do it from one spot over here, 10 people, one spot over there, 10 people, it's just really not going to work. Everybody's going to have to pull up their big boy pants and just get it together, because it's just...
So what do we do? How do you propose? What do you propose we do?
I propose that we have an international task force, if possible, that can hold certain governments to account So even if you have an ambassador in different, this is what I would, in my idealistic world, you would have an ambassador in each country. Majority obviously is probably going to be westernized countries. And then if any person of an ethnic minority comes to them and says, listen, this and this happened, and I think that we need to have some kind of something that is dealt with about it, then we do it as a collective, because it's just getting to a point by where like there's too many disjointed voices but all experiencing the exact same thing, and nothing can be done, because if you report it to the police in one place or another, nothing gets done, or very rarely does something get done. And it's only if you get the evidence. So even when we're talking about Aubrey, no, what's his name again? It is Aubrey.
Ahmad Aubrey.
Ahmad Aubrey, sorry, Mr. Aubrey, that's it. We're talking about him. Like, it wasn't until footage that they already had was accidentally released that then they decided, oh, we'll arrest you. They haven't even charged them. They haven't gone to prison yet. None of that has happened yet. And yet, look how long ago it was. And it's only when we get to a point where it is international outrage, some celebrities started to talk about it, all this kind of different stuff, then the police are like, oh, snap, we might have to go and arrest them, you know.
Typical though.
Why? Yeah, exactly. That shouldn't be surprising. Like the police are not there to support the Black community.
But that's what I'm saying. There needs to be an independent.
US. You're right.
Exactly,
You're absolutely right.
There has to be something that's independent, because unless we have that something that's independent, that we have our best lawyers, best doctors, best psychologists, best psychiatrists in. If we don't have like our best whatever kind of professionals that are necessary, unless we have that there, we're not gonna get heard. We're not gonna get heard, and nothing is gonna change, and we're gonna keep birthing children into the same mess.
Yeah.
But it has to take that collective responsibility. It has to take that collective, what's the word I'm looking for? I want to say wokeness, but that's not what I meant. It's like collective consciousness. That collective consciousness to be saying, okay, you know what? If we do it by ourselves, we won't get anywhere. But if we do it as a collective, they gotta listen, because there's how many billions of us? There's billions of us, and then they can't just come to us when it's time to vote.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Because this will be the question I'm asking you. So why am I 4.3 times more likely to die in this country than Susie down the road?
With same symptoms, if not worse.
Same symptoms.
And the countries that are third world or whatever, that you would think have less advanced medical equipment.
Yep. They're not experiencing these numbers.
All right, but yet we've
coming up with cures.
Exactly.
Was it Madagascar?
Say it again.
Coming up with cures, Madagascar. I think a doctor in Madagascar's
coming up with cures. Good. We need someone who comes up with cures. We need someone who can come up with the cures for it. But like, I think that there's definitely a hell of a discrepancy that needs to be answered for in all countries. Quite frankly, in all Western countries, there needs to be an answer as to why, because it can't be eugenetic makeup. Can't be, because if it was, then the people in those developing countries would have it as well. So there has to be a sociological factor or political factor that is causing there to be that discrepancy. There's nothing else that it could be, or unless you just pump in rubbish. It's going to be one of the three. You're gonna either it's a lie or it's the truth, and you've got a sociological problem, or you got a political problem. Either way, somebody needs to do something.
Genocide, I think.
It is. I think it is a silent genocide, and I think it's just a way for them to be able to get rid of people that they want to get rid of, like the disposables or the expendables peoples. Like if you're poor, black, or an ethnic minority, yeah, cool, you're good to go. Toodles.
So doing that work on self is really important, because like Rihanna was saying earlier about, there's a lot of information that's quite negative about Black people at the moment, whether it's in the US or the UK. How do we balance that out? How do we make sure that we're managing our own mental health and well-being? So I think we've talked about self-compassion. Sitting with whatever it is that we're feeling and knowing your different outlets that's going to help you feel more balanced or positive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that,
go on, Rihanna.
I think
Sorry.
it's all right. I think also having like-minded people around you is sometimes is half the battle.
Mm-hmm.
I think, like you said, there's different things out there, there's different agencies and corporations and whatever else. But also it's important to have like-minded people that you can share with, offload with. So that's also very important, I feel.
Yeah,
I agree.
I agree with that, babe.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that. I think there just needs to be. All right, so I would say that we need to kind of look at ourselves as an individual first. Just try and reevaluate who we are as people, who we are as a person, and then look at who we are as a collective. And then try and look at whether those characteristics do actually match, like, you know, the stereotypes that we're shown. Like, do I act like that? Am I just like that? And so on and so forth. And I would also argue that the people who we would maybe say were wayward, so like people who we'd say like maybe drug dealers who actually are drug dealers, and people who we would say are fraudsters, okay, maybe you're not doing the best thing necessarily, but what is the actual characteristics as to why you're doing it? Are you actually doing it because you want your family to have a better life? So actually, is the intent behind the action a good intent, or is it just that you just want to be bad and you're just a bad person?
And also they've got transferable skills. They always use those skills.
100%. So
I think for you to be a criminal, well, not just in a criminal, but for you to be like a drug dealer or like, you know, a fraudster, you gotta be
very smart, especially if you're a good one. You are gonna be very smart, and you'll have a whole load of business sense that you don't even realize that you have. I've always said that grown men meant the best businessmen. Go on.
Yeah, of course. Not only that because they've got the motivation and the hustle, but not only that, they also have delegate. They delegate very, very well. It's a whole thing. Come on.
Exactly. You guys could set up logistical businesses, so on and so forth. I may not, you know, we don't necessarily like the content of what you're selling. Yeah, no, we don't necessarily like that. However, we're not co-signing at all. At all. We'd never co-sign anything illegal. However, those skills can be transferable if you so wish for them to be transferable.
Yeah, in a positive, constructive way.
Most definitely. And I think even in that, when we're saying that, okay, does that then match up to, you know, what society tells me that a black person looks like, or a ethnic minority person looks like? Then if the answer is no, then we need to start, I think we really need to start having more of a narrative of who we are, and we present who we are more so than anyone else.
Yeah, definitely. But I feel like there's only a small amount of us that are in that illegal game. Unfortunately, it's just portrayed that it's more than that, but it's actually not. I know. I don't now. If I think about it properly, I don't know anyone that does any illegal activities. I knew one, but he's changed his life around. I don't know anyone.
Okay, yeah, people that change their life around is fine. I was about to say, I was like, I kind of do, but no, they've changed their lives for real.
No, they've changed. That's different. Yeah. But that currently doing it now.
Currently, I don't think so. And even if I did, I wouldn't say.
Yeah, of course, but I definitely don't.
I don't, but I really wouldn't say.
If they are, I just never told me about it.
Exactly. Like, you know, I didn't ask. I didn't ask, they didn't tell.
There you go.
Hey. But yeah, now yeah, I think we really need to be the ones to start rewriting that narrative, because for us to wait on Hollywood to do it, or for us to wait on whoever else to do it, it's just not going to happen at all. And I think in terms of like other people rewriting their portrayal of themselves as a race has happened, but for some reason we haven't been able to. Because like, even if you think about like the people who went and enslaved others, That is a wicked thing to do, but yet somehow this
People,
whole thing has been, you know, rewritten somehow, that, you know,
white people,
they were helping, and you know,
white people.
what she said.
That's what it was.
Okay, so when we're talking about transatlantic slavery, yes, it's white people who enslaved Black people, but somehow they've managed to rewrite this narrative somehow that white is right, somehow, in terms of, you know, they've managed to rewrite the narrative somehow that, you know, they are all squeaky clean and we're the ones that are stealing and so on, where actually that entire thing came from was the fact that they would, sorry?
It was from slavery?
It was from that, but what I'm saying is that even when they emancipated, I'm going to put it in quotations, emancipated people, they wouldn't let them buy things in their stores even if they had the money. So what option did you have other than to take, even if you dropped the money, you would still have to take the thing. And what if you have to feed your family, but this shop here don't let you buy it, this shop here won't let you buy from them, this shop over here won't let you buy from them, but yet you still have a family to feed? Not only
that, that you weren't allowed to set up your own store.
Exactly.
Yeah, because it'll be a thing like, okay, you can't buy from Mr. Whoever over there, but Mr. Whoever goes and tells you to get your own. All right, let me try and get my own. No,
because they'll burn down your store.
So you know what I mean. You can't try and give people alternatives, and when they try and take that, then you limit them. They've got less options, and then people resort to desperation. Desperation sometimes breeds criminality. It is what it is,
and it is what it is.
If your rights were stripped away like that, you know, to that point, well.
But like then, you said, go ahead. Sorry, honey.
It's all right. Well, I was gonna say, especially people dependent on you. Carry on.
Yeah, sure. But then even people like Rockefeller, like all of these like major rich families, they all started off with illegal things from their day. So like when you weren't supposed to be drinking, Rockefeller and them like were making drinks and bootlegging drinks outside of their what do you call them, speakeasies, like underground clubs that you weren't even supposed to be having. Like they did the same things with cocaine and all that kind of different stuff. Not just the Rockefellers, there's other many wealthy families who have done the exact same thing. But yet when it comes to Black and brown people doing the exact same thing, they're like, nope.
And also those same rich families that live on acres and acres and acres.
Yep.
They're the same rich families that was selling and buying slaves. So let me tell you something. Those acres and acres of land that you live on, that's mine. Okay.
Sure. Percentage of it would be yours and mine.
But you know, you reminded me of when you said about slaves and stuff like that. I remember I was watching something. Just side note, I was watching something. I can't remember what I was watching, and I think it was a parent. I don't know if I'm making this up, but this is what's coming to my mind. Okay. I think it was a parent whose child was learning about slavery in school, and the child was told that the slaves wanted to go. So they weren't slaves, they were called workers, and the workers wanted to go.
Yes.
Where was that from?
No, that was actually a thing, but that was a narrative that was actually given. No, that was a narrative that was given. British people, this is why sometimes I blame them, but I don't blame them. British white people for years were told that when Europe or when Britain went to Africa and took people from Africa to put them into whatever places in the Caribbean or in America, they told them that they were doing it as form of re-education and to help them and to give them work to do. Like, this is actually a narrative that was given.
If that's given to them and they just swallowed it, I do blame them.
It was in school. It's the same way if you go to school now and someone says, how many wives did Henry VIII have? And you say, 6. You would just swallowed it because that's what you've been told. You wouldn't know any different unless you go and dig in the history books for yourself.
I suppose so.
School doesn't make us scholars.
No, the school doesn't make you scholars. School makes you a worker bee.
Well, yeah, I suppose that's where the individual, and that's where the intention, and that's where research and all those things come into. Because I suppose school gives you. Let's bring this back to food, because who doesn't like to eat? So school gives you a plate
Yeah.
And you have rice, because guess what? Rice is affordable, rice is accessible, and rice is basic, but you can turn it into a masterpiece, let me tell you. Anyway,
Yes.
so rice is rice, right? School has given you rice.
Yes.
It's up to you now to go in and add the meat if you want to add the meat. For those vegans, if you want to just add vegans with a bit of seasoning on top of it,
They can add
for you
some
to plate up
tofu.
the thing, make it look presentable. Add your dessert, you start and you drink.
Mm-hmm.
And don't forget
My
your
point is there meat around that I can add to the rice? Is there the vegetables that are around so I can add to my vegan dish or my
Yes,
plant-based dish?
yes,
Like,
you know it is. The
okay.
meat and the vegetable is there, but you know what happened? The world is like farm foods freezer. The meat and that is at the listen, guys. The meat
I'm
and that and
listening.
the veg is at
Yeah.
the bottom, and everybody else put the potatoes on top. So you have to dig down and find it for yourself, because they would let you believe that all in the world is just potato.
Oh, I hear you. Okay, so you gotta dig to
Come on
find
with the
those.
lesson. Is anybody feeling it? It's
I felt that lesson. I feel hungry now, but I felt that lesson.
that's good.
Love that.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I
man.
think
Love
the
that.
world would genuinely have you believe that it's just potatoes and it's just wedges and all that at the top, all the bread and the croissants. Don't get me wrong, everyone loves a good croissant. But if you dig down deep, you got the chicken breast, you got the veg, you got the broccoli, you got all the other things that make the dish what it is.
Flavoursome.
I hear that.
Yes. But I suppose it's just about researching that thing. But the thing is, if I'm being honest, if 25-year-old me now
Yeah.
was to talk to 16-year-old Rihanna then, I wasn't as interested in my blackness then as I am
Sure.
now.
Sure.
But that took me having to dive into the farm foods freezer. And really, if I'm being honest, a lot of it came from meeting you lot
Okay.
at work.
Nice.
Yeah.
A lot of it came from meeting you lot at work.
I'm glad.
At that one place. For me to kind of, because don't get me wrong, like I was interested, but not enough to do research about it. To be honest, when I met you lot, I was like, I like this. And I'd never been around people. This is also like-minded people, because I had never really been around people that were so steadfast in it already. Do you know what I mean? So it kind of gives you something to aspire to. It kind of makes you want to work harder, makes you want to know more, because if I meet somebody who I feel is wiser than me, more knowledgeable than me, I will sit and listen to you. So that time that I was going to say somebody else, but that person wasn't really talking. It was mainly you two talking about things like that. Maybe a few other Asian people, but mainly you lot. So I felt like I was sitting and listening to a lot of what you lot and a lot of what our male manager at the time had to say about his experiences and things like that. That kind of opened me up more into it.
Right.
Don't get me wrong, when I was at college, I would debate and say different things, because yeah, sometimes you had to, but I didn't know much. I really was, I didn't know much. But listening to you lot, having to research and learning because I remember when I came to that job, and I think, I don't know whether Nakima said it herself or Chantal said it to me, but one of you was like, "Oh yeah, Nakima's Pan African." I was like, "What's that?"
Oh, I think
and
I
then
might have said that.
researching it.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh my god, this is so weird." So, well, not weird, interesting. Yeah. So anyway, so things like that. I think a lot of it, like I said, school will give you the very basic, which is fine. At the end of the day, they're only there really to just get you in and get you out.
That's true. That is true.
But it's about you, and that's it. And I will say this: it starts from home, because, for example, I never really heard my mom speak about things like this. I never really heard my auntie speak about things like this. If it came up in a topic, then we'd talk about it, but at a very, very basic level. Like, that's racist. That's racist. That's gonna be it. But I think the more invested I became in you two, into the knowledge and that stuff that you were teaching me, the more I talk about it,
Good.
the more those people around me would then talk about it. So my mom started to talk about it a bit more, and the more that I understood, the more she understood. And I don't, not say that she didn't know things before. I think she probably did, but maybe because I didn't bring it up or engage in conversation or whatever,
Right.
the opportunity wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
But now, you know, we'll just go to town. Even my partner as well. Like that's not saying he didn't know about that stuff, but living in a different area. This is my opinion, not his.
Mm-hmm.
Living in a different area, sometimes it's about just surviving, not necessarily. Not
Because
necessarily.
it's so dense in that area, it's hard
Yeah.
to navigate certain things if you've not got the certain energies. You're right with that, because it takes a village, doesn't it? No man is an island, and all of those things. And I remember you saying back then, because we had in-depth conversations about Pan-Africanism. I think internalized racism was one of our conversations, and then you was talking to your mum about it, and you were reflecting back on you having conversations with people, or was it someone at church or someone, anyway, but it was just so uplifting to hear you engage into these conversations outside of us. Does that make sense? Like, I knew you'd do that anyway, but just so, and then bringing that back and saying, okay, this is what we've been talking about, and this is what, it makes sense, and it makes it okay to feel the way that we do at times when we're dealing with so much micro and macro aggressions, and that helps with reducing trauma, you know what I mean? Because we are quite unfortunately traumatized in minimals or large ways. Or
And also now I get it. So for example, when I'm out in the world, and when I say the world, I mean out amongst
others.
When I'm out, I see it for what it is. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I can already identify when I walk into that room. I can feel it already. I already know what it is. Do you know what I mean? Or when you've got an attitude with me, I already know what it is. Do you know what I mean? And that's why I didn't know before. I think I knew it at a very basic level. I think, for example, if I knew at 16, what I knew was racism, as in terms of just the statement, that's racist. But I didn't get it. I didn't go deeper down. I didn't go about institutionalized. I didn't go about microaggression. I didn't go about all those things. So I'm saying all that to say, a lot of it is about being an individual and going and seeking for yourself.
I hear that. Most definitely.
So
most definitely.
Seek the truth. Always seek the truth and do it with love.
Yeah, and don't necessarily believe what people tell you. Go and find for yourself.
Most definitely.
At least
most definitely.
Sources.
Yeah.
Go and find for yourself, because books are out there that don't lie to you. And if you,
there are some books out there that don't lie to you.
Within reason.
Yeah.
Google within reason as well. But I feel like on certain places like Google, search engines like Google, same thing with the rice. They'll tell you what they want you to see at first. But I feel like the deeper that you go into the freezer, you know, when you go into the now we've all been shopping in this quarantine time. So you know when you go to Aldi and everything has gone, even the meat and the vegetables at the bottom is gone, but you see that one digga pea that fell out from the pea packet. All right, so that's what I feel like Google. If you go deep into Google, you'll find that little pea. Like,
you're right, you know. You're right, 110%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eventually you'll find something.
Let's find Nemo. He's still out there.
So let's find Nemo.
Yeah.
We always wanted to find Nemo. Jeez.
Listen, one Nemo, we got caught last week. Anyways.
Actually, today I had him for dinner. It was lovely.
See? Rihanna had him for dinner. Anyway, so she did find him. She found him already.
Not animal people that watch this and get upset with us.
Sorry, no, we're joking, because Nemo was an animation and you can't.
It's a cartoon, guys.
Anyway.
Don't take these guys seriously. It's a cartoon.
So wait, back to And that too, you know what I mean? So back to kind of what Nakima was suggesting before about trauma, about there being like I guess a collective trauma, and how we all might experience it and deal with it might be different. But do you feel like there's a re-traumatization through this pandemic? So in knowing that sorry, go on.
No, go on. Sorry.
Okay, so in knowing that, okay, you are in the UK anyway, as a black female, 4.3 times more likely to die from COVID than a white female, or, you know, like even things where we see about with Mr. Aubrey, or even things that we see about, you know, how people are contracting, how black and ethnic minorities are contracting and dying from the virus, and also like disproportionately our medical professionals are also like, you know, having issues in terms of their death rates as well. Do you feel like there's a re-traumatization of us?
I think for the ones that didn't know, or, you know, like how Rihanna, you were saying earlier about how when you were 16, there's basic knowledge going on with a lot of people, and with institutionalized racism, macro aggressions, and racism in itself. I think it might be, I don't even know, maybe there is a trauma going on for the first time for those ones. But I don't know, a re-trauma. I don't know.
I think not only that, I think it's also bringing a light, not a light, but anyway, bringing light to, so those that don't know or have minimal knowledge, I definitely think it's highlighted things for them. And I think those also that do know, for example, you lot that already know, already research, already have a very, very good idea or knowledge about this, it's probably re-traumatizing for you lot, because it's like we've been through this issue already, and here we are again going through the same thing, just in a a slight different way, but it's all under the same umbrella. And also what I'm realizing, I know this is kind of slightly coming off it, but it still comes underneath this whole racism thing, that on platforms such as TikTok, even more racism coming about. Like, it's everywhere, like it's insane. Do you know what I mean? And I think, well, unfortunately, the more accessible things are, the more space people have. So now that this whole COVID thing is here, more, like you said, there's more incentive for the doctors to do a madness. So more incentives for the doctors to say someone's dead, but really they ain't dead, and put them in the morgue somewhere, and the family have to break in. You know, it's more reason for that blessed man, bless his heart, to go on. Are you going to go on a morning jog for exercise and not come back to your house?
I know. It's a madness.
It's just more reason, to the point that it's kind of like, well, it's only a matter of time until someone stupid like that comes over here. Do you know what I mean? And
don't get me started.
It's already here.
I was about to say it's already here. It's just on the DL, man.
Well, yeah.
It's already here. It's just different way here. Go on, sorry, sweetie.
Yeah. No, I didn't mean that it's not happening. It definitely already is here. Already happening. Even today, I saw so many videos this morning about stuff like that. But I meant literally that example of somebody running and then being shot for it. That's what I meant. But yeah, it's already happening. It's been happening. And unfortunately, I feel like it will continue to happen. So yeah, to go back to your question, I feel like it is re-traumatizing, especially for those, like I said, that already have a very deep knowledge or understanding into what this whole thing is anyway.
Yeah.
And for those that don't, it's definitely a fear factor.
Yeah.
It's scary. Do you know what I mean? Because even when that person that is running the country made an announcement saying something but saying nothing at all, literally.
Go left but go right, go up but go down, go straight but go back. That's why I said he's making us do a national hokey. He was trying to make us do
go out but not out. But when you go out, come back in because you're out. But anyway,
it's dictatorship, it ain't democracy.
For real, that person, when they after he said what he said, some of my colleagues called me and they were like, Rana, like, what are we going to do? Because for example, let's say out of my team, 4 of us take public transport.
Mm-hmm.
And out the 4, 2 is black, 1 is Asian, and 1 is white.
Whoa.
And the black lady, my friend, black lady, she was like, Rana! She was like, I'm not going to work.
Don't blame me.
I started laughing, and she's like, no, I'm all 3. I'm old, I'm black, and I take public transport. I'm not going anywhere. And we started laughing, but it's so true.
Mm-hmm.
And so even things like that, it's kind of like, well, you don't want to take the risk. Like, not that we're going to go to work anyway because we can't, but even if the option was there, it's like,
I ain't going nowhere. And I would want it in my contract that you people are going to pay my family a healthy settlement if I did, because you don't have that space.
Exactly, and it's not only the fear that you will die from COVID, it's the fear that you will die from the police as well.
Well, that too.
Or anybody else that feels like can take the law into their hands.
On the hands. Well, yeah, like the person who spat at the lady in the subway. Like that was, I still can't get over that. I really feel like that person needs to be put away for 3rd-degree murder. I don't even think it should even be manslaughter. It needs to be 3rd-degree murder. You knew you had COVID. You knew that certain amount of people died from that, and you still spat at her because you wanted to infect her. No, you need to go away for 3rd-degree murder.
You're just disgusting.
Absolutely nasty.
What?
Absolutely nasty.
How do you sleep at night? I hope you don't, you know.
I just hope that they find the right person. I'm gonna say person, because who else are they gonna try and just spit at? Who else are they gonna just, like, you know, for all we know, they could be in Sainsbury's and Asda or Tesco licking different stuff, and you pick it up because that's the kind of person that you are. If you can just spit at somebody, you are that person.
They are doing that.
No.
Do you wipe down your things?
No.
Yeah,
I think I just feel sorry for the stories that are not being told, the ones that we don't know of, because there's so many of them. And there's so many success stories as well, and beautiful stories of people coming together.
Very true.
And
very true.
It's a bit top heavy in the negative, unfortunately, because fear creates anxiety and it kills us.
Yeah.
And I want us to kind of, if you see any positivity out there or anything that's balanced, when it comes to these stories and success stories and heroes and sheroes and all sorts, put them out there, please. In fact, I'm probably gonna do a little or look for some success stories.
Yeah. I mean, there have been because there have been a lot of charities that started to work together. There's been a lot of, like, you know.
Have you seen them on social media?
Have I seen them on social media? Not as much. I've seen them, but not as much, if I'm honest. But like, you do.
TV adverts.
Say that again.
You've seen them more on TV adverts.
Yeah,
that's orchestrated.
Well, but there are small. I will go with the ones that I know that are people. I know the actual people. So like even the smaller, like food banks and stuff like that are actually trying to say that again.
Yeah, there was a teenager that was giving out food, like making packages to people.
Yeah.
So
I heard that one.
Yeah. So
is there something that we could do? Sorry, sweetie.
It's all right, darling. Go on. Is there something that we could do?
Something that we could do, like some soup kitchen or something, just for a Sunday or something.
Could do. But I know there's a company already, I don't know if I'm allowed to say their name, but Blessed to Bless, they're already doing that. So we could help out. I don't think they'd have a problem with us helping out.
Are they local?
Yeah, they're Birmingham.
Okay, send me some details with that, because I offered my services the week it was shut down to be a delivery driver. Drive food to different places, but in the end they had a few drivers, so they didn't need me, and I felt a little bit like I want to give, I want to do something.
I hear you.
What about the old people that you know? Why don't you just call them up and be like, yo, mommy, nan, You
Yeah,
need to
you
go.
need something.
Need to go shopping. Let me just go shopping.
I absolutely love that idea, and I have been,
Oh,
because I've been a bit frightened.
Yeah, I
I
was about
don't
to
want
say.
that closeness, but that's okay. I mean,
But you can drop the food at
yeah,
their front
God
door.
bless my
You gotta
mum.
go in their house.
yeah, just shop at the front door.
You can just drop the food
And
at the
talk
front.
to them from afar.
Yeah, that's what I do
Yeah,
to my
I'll do
neighbours.
some more.
Mm.
Yeah.
Also, for those that are listening, I've decided that I will no longer be clapping for NHS alone.
Okay.
Before everyone's vow alone. I've decided that I'll be clapping for NHS and social services, and the reason is, my mum works in social services, and her and I had like a conversation, and she was saying that like she thinks like everyone clapping for NHS is amazing and they're overworked and all these amazing things because everyone knows somebody who's in NHS, but also know people that are social workers too, and NHS is on the front line. They're doing all the hard doing their work is hard and whatever they're doing, and it's a lot of things involved. But also, social services are and will be the ones that help those people put their lives back together.
Yeah,
I
that's
So,
agree.
true. That's true.
and if God forbid people are to die from COVID, which they are, social services are the ones that are gonna have to place their children or
That's
whatever
right.
in certain places, whether it's local authority, with other family members, if they even got family members, or just in
Agreed.
assisting in care. So not only that, the department that my mum works in works with older people. Her team are the ones that will have to put those older people into homes, if the homes will even take them. If not, they're going to have to figure something out. But for the most part, those old people will die because that's just the circle of life, and that's just how it is,
right.
unfortunately.
True.
And social services, like the NHS, fill in every aspect of your life from birth to death. Do you know what I mean? So I decided maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago that when I do clap on a Thursday, it's not just for NHS, it's for social services as well. And when I put that on my Instagram, I got a lot of my social services friends, associates just kind of like message me and just like thank me because they were saying that they're still working from home, and they were saying that no one really says anything about them, about the hard work that they do. Everybody hates social services, and I realized that when I started working this job that I do now, everybody hates social services just because of the power that they have and can have over your life,
and the minimal few that have messed it up for the whole thing.
The whole lot, yeah.
Definitely, which is in everything, but definitely that. But at the same time, social services can make a very good positive impact on someone's life as well.
True.
So I feel like not only social services, not only NHS, but also therapists. I know therapists right now, you lot are inundated. I know the amount of times that you lot are getting telephone sessions with Dick, Harry, Annabelle, and Chloe talking about how they're scared because of this corona thing.
Yeah.
But I can only imagine, and not only that, whether you lot are even able to have your supervision the way you would have it normally is difficult. Do you know what I mean? Because let's be honest, people, as in people that are listening to us, every time you go to your therapist and you offload, your therapist also needs time to offload. What you have to know and what you have to understand is that your therapist is a person too. And even though for the most part, whatever you share with them, they can let it go and
deal with it.
Compartmentalize, whatever the word is, and leave it. But after a while, everybody needs some time to just kind of, debrief. So, saying all that to say, those people in mental health, that covers you lot. Social services, that's up of any sort of social care, which all that come into.
Teachers, care assistants, midwives.
Yep.
Yes. Anyone on the front line. Even if sorry, go on. Yes, teachers.
Parents.
Teachers, teachers, parents having to homeschool. Parents having to homeschool their children. I know every parent feels like drinking every 5 seconds, but that's how you should take your hat off to the teachers for dealing with your little badass kids.
Exactly. I think there's going to be a newfound appreciation for them, to be honest
and
with you.
now you understand why your child is in detention every Friday, yeah? Because your child's bad. Say, even people that do what I do, working with domestic abuse, hats off to all those people that come under social care. Like I said, teachers, you know, the medical field, the mental health field, education, caring, all those sort of things. Let me tell you, the UK, the world, better appreciate this, you know, because you never know that you needed it
until you needed it.
Until now.
Yeah, it's very true. It's very, very true. Very true.
So that's my 2-piece.
Your 2-piece. Okay, guys. So for all the people that are listening, we would love to hear your opinions on this. We would love to have a conversation with you about this. So if you want to, you can leave messages either on our Instagram page or our YouTube page, or our Twitter page. We've got a Twitter page as well, which is Sweet Talks 4. If you want to just have a way of getting towards us, then we can definitely continue this conversation. But for now, guys, thank you for listening and goodbye. God bless, guys. Goodbye.
Bye.